where we summarize the con where we summarize the content of the book. The book that's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this book basically helps our human relationship, how we interact with both our superiors, subordinates, friends, spouse, everybody. It helps in our day-to-day activity. And in the last two classes, we've looked at the first part, which talks about the fundamental techniques in handling people. And the part that resonated with me is where it talked about human beings are driven by emotions and we don't have to criticize people. We just have to learn how to manage their expectation. Then last week we talked about the 6 ways to make people like you. We talked about putting on our smiles. That's principle 2. While principle 3 is something I know that I'm currently dealing with and I'm also trying to improve, which is the name aspect. The name aspect, which is an important factor of all human being. If you want a contract, you need to know your name. You need to know people's name. In fact, when meeting people, you need to know their names, basically. And the book has already taught me how to interact with people. Yes. And today we'll be looking at the third part, which is how to win people to your way of thinking. And I will call to our virtual lecturant, Sumaya Layoli. I'm sure she's on this call and she'll be the one to take us through
Okay, the
the
camera can.
12
I'm not
she'll be the one to take us through the 12 principles. Over to you, Sumaya.
Hello, good
Thank you.
evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sumaya Layoli Ashas. Introduced me, and I'll be taking you through the part 3 of the book, How to Win People to Your Way of Thinking. And there are 12 principles in this chapter. So we're going to go straight into the point, and I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we
Hope
can
everyone
hear
can
you
hear
and
me.
see you as well.
All right. So, principle 1, we have you can't win an argument. So, in this place, it is telling us that we can't win an argument. And there are some key points. I'll just be stating out the key points because of time. So, there is only one way to get the best of an argument. And to get the best of an argument is for you to avoid the argument, like the way we avoid rattlesnakes and earthquakes. That means that we should just avoid arguments. If we get into discussion with someone or like disagreement and it's already turning into an argument, you find the best way to avoid it. And I'm going to give you the ways to as I'm speaking. So the second thing in this principle is hatred is never ended by hatred, but by love. Whenever we get into an argument with someone, probably a discussion, and it is turning into an argument, it's turning into a fight, a disagreement, we should try to end it with love, because we can never end hatred by hatred. We can never end hatred by hatred. We only end it by love. So we should always settle anything that is going to lead to argument or disagreement. So another thing here is that um another thing here is how to keep a disagreement from becoming an argument. How to keep a disagreement from becoming an argument. You see, when we are speaking with someone, when we get into conversation with someone, we cannot just start by just fighting. There'll be something that led to that thing. So maybe we are in a discussion now and it's already turning into a disagreement. Probably you're not more like you're no longer being on my side, I'm no longer being on your side, and they turn into an argument. There's a way we can overcome that. So the first way is welcome the disagreement. Let me just give an example. Maybe we are just speaking about maybe something that you love and something that I don't. So like welcome the argument. Try to try to calm yourself down and listen to the person. The second one is the trust your first instinctive impression. That like you should so what I understand by this is that you should just come with like a clean mind. Just open your mind to listen to what the person want to say and take away your first impression. Another thing is control your temper. this thing, I don't know, it differs. Yes, some people are always able to control it, and some people used to have serious issue while discussing with someone, and it turns into an argument. So we should always try our best to overcome, to control our temper in any discussion. Then another thing is you should listen first. You try to listen to whatever, just listen. If you listen, you'll be able to find solution to it, because at times if you don't listen to some things, you just burst into conclusion and everything, and that's always very bad. That can make disagreement turn into an argument. Another thing is look for areas of agreement. Don't always look for points that you don't always look for the part that you're going to use to insult the person, that oh this to insult the person. You always look for the point of agreement, a point that's like something that you know personally, that can make both of you come into, agreement. That's what you should always look for in every discussion, in every disagreement, not what you're going to use to insult the person or go against the person. And that thing, you should be honest. You should be honest. That's very important. And lastly, for this principle one, in a disagreement, when someone yells at you, you should listen. When someone yells at you, you should listen. When someone is at you should listen. That's the best thing to do. I've said it earlier. Because in a communication whereby two people are just yelling at each other, they're just making noise, that is not argument. That is not a discussion. It's just a random, that's not communication. It's just a random noise. Because what can make communication is when someone speaks and the other listens. Right. So the second principle I have here is show respect for other people's opinion. Never say you are wrong. This is very important because most of us fall into this category. Most of us fall into this category of you are wrong. When someone brings something to your table, just say you are wrong. And that's very wrong. Yes, that's very wrong for you to tell someone you are wrong. Because if you tell someone you are wrong, it's like you just hit the person's intelligence and the person's knowledge. Like you just rubbish the person, and you literally insulted the person when you tell someone you are wrong. So you should not. And the best thing you should do is when someone brings something to your table or something, you try to listen, because telling someone you are wrong is a disrespectful um statement. Then the third principle, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Yeah. If you know you are wrong, even before someone tells you you are wrong, you should accept it, that, oh, I did this. In the story, in the book, there was a story of someone like a dog. Then he used to bring the dog to somewhere and they asked him not to bring it there again. Then he brought it one day, and before the person even came to attack him, that, oh, why would you do such a thing? He has said, oh, I'm very sorry, I did this kind of thing. So whenever we are wrong, we should admit it ourselves before someone starts to tell us that. Another thing here is principle four. People naturally are not willing to change their minds, but if you do that calmly, you can win their hearts. Yes. What I know, you cannot just wake up one morning and just tell me, oh, take away this thing. It's not more this way, it's this way. Even civilization, the way things are changing, it's not that easy. There will be some things that you need to do to win the person's heart. And you cannot do that with fight. You cannot do that with insult. You can't do that by telling someone you are wrong. You need to do that calmly so that you can win the person's heart. Then the another thing in this principle three is that um and so another thing in this principle four is that honey catches flies than a gallon of gold will do. The thing is, in this place, it means that we should welcome people. We should show our friendly parts to people if we want to win their hearts. I cannot want to win you. I cannot want to convince you with something, and I come with a very harsh tone. I come insulting you, telling you you are wrong. Whatever you're saying does not make sense. That is not possible. So, like, we should make ourselves friendly to the person that we want to convince. So another thing, the next part is the principle five. Get the other person saying yes, yes immediately. When you're talking to someone and the first thing the person says is no, that no does not just mean the N or no. It means emotionally everything that the person is saying with all the person's mind, the person is against what you want to say. You understand? So always try to bring up discussion that's going to make the person admit at the beginning. You understand? That's part of opening and listening to people. So in this place too, it says that talk about things that you have in common and keep the person saying yes, yes, no, no, no. Talk about the things that make you guys in common. Talk about things that will make the person flow with you. Talk about the things, talk about the good part of something. Even if you want to convince someone about something, everything that we're doing, it has the negative part and the positive part. You cannot want to convince me about something and you're bringing the bad things to the table first. That's not possible. Understand? So, like, bring the good things to the person so that the person will tell you yes at the beginning. Then principle six, let the other person do great deal of the talking. Yes, if you want to win someone, if you want to win people's way of thinking, if you want to win people's way of thinking, you can. you cannot just do all the talking. You're going to listen to the person, especially when the person is in maybe a state of dilemma, or like trying to make decisions or something. And the person brings it to your table that, oh, tell me, how am I going to do about this? And even before the person could express his or herself, you've come to conclusion and bombard the person with everything. Like you just start talking without listening to the person. That's very wrong. So whenever you want to win someone's heart or convince someone, you should try to listen. Then you should talk less. Then principle 7 is how to get cooperation. How to get cooperation. Then let in this place it said, let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. It's let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. It's it is wiser to make suggestions and make the other person come to conclusion. In this place, it's telling us that if you want to discuss with someone or anything, just make suggestions, bring opinions, not just come to conclusions yourself. Especially if it's the person that started the discussion, or the person that brought something to your table. You not just come to conclusion. Listen to the person's opinion, and you can suggest your own. Oh, what if I bring it this way? How do you see this? What if I bring this way? How do you see it? And the person is going to come to conclusion. Then moving to the next principle because of time swiftly. Principle 8, a formula that will work wonders for you. And the formula is try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. This is very important because people are wrong and they don't know. It's possible for you to be wrong and you don't know you are wrong, right? Then a fool, according to the book, is going to condemn the person that, oh, you're wrong, get out, this and that's not done. But a wise person is going to listen to the person, and the person is going to put his or herself in the person's shoe. Maybe now you brought something to my table. In this place, it was talking about a wife that used to clear the lawn, and there's no really significant difference in what she does. And her husband is always like, "What's the point of this? What's the point of this?" Then she called him to join him one day, and he detested. He said he was not going to join her. Then he later joined. Then when he joined, they were able to do this thing together, and at the end of the day, it led to happiness. You understand? So always try to put people in. Always try to put yourself in people's shoes because everything has a reason. Everybody taking every decision, person has a reason for that. Then to the next one, principle 9, what everybody wants. What everybody wants is sympathy. Everybody wants sympathy. So be sympathetic with people's personal, with people's ideas and desires. Understand? In this case too, and a story there is about Baptist. Yes, about Baptist, where like she used to play piano. She used to play the piano and she has long fingernails. Then our coach or the person just in that piano scene was like, you need to cut these fingernails. Me that I've been keeping my nails for over a month. You cannot just come to me one day and say you have to cut these nails for no reason. You need to give me my reason. And if I tell you my reason for keeping that news too, I have the reason. It might not be my wish because it is for some people just keep it for fashion. And so instead of the woman to just insult the girl that you need to go and cut your nails, what she told her was that it might be tough for you, but when you cut these nails, it's just a sacrifice and you need to do it. Like you just have to do it. And she was able to persuade the person and the person cut the nail. Then to principle 10, an appeal that everybody likes. An appeal that everybody likes, appeal to the noble motives. So in this case, they said lay down your decision on a table for a few days and think over it. Lay down your decision on a table and think over it. That's for the principle 11. Then to principle 12, when nothing else works, try this. Throw down a challenge. You throw down a challenge. That's for the principle 12 and the last one. And yeah, try other tactics. Maybe when you are doing something now and a part is not working well or anything, try other things. Be diverse. Don't just go through a particular thing every time to solve something. Then make people feel like good people. They wouldn't want to talk and have discussions with you. Consider them honest. Don't have trust issues. This is also very important because it can even ruin friendship or anything. Then that is all. So let me just recap it from the beginning, the principle 1 to 12. The first principle is that there is only you can't win an argument, and there is only one way. The third principle is the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. The second principle is show respect for other people's opinion. Never say you are wrong. The third principle is if you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. The fourth principle is begin in a friendly way. For every discussion, begin in a friendly way. The fifth one is get the other person saying yes, yes immediately and not no. The next one is the principle 6. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Principle 7, let the other person feel that the idea is hers or his. Principle 8, try honestly to see things from other person's point of view. Principle 9, be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Principle 10, appeal to the nobler's motives. Principle 11, dramatize your ideas. Principle 12, throw down a challenge. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for giving us for summarizing this all 44 pages, and would like to give you a round of applause for that. Yeah, thank you. So I'll just add one or two things to what she has said. Like the fourth principle that talked about begin a friendly way. So I know that when we come into a room and everybody's face is very strong, or everybody's face is very serious, it will be like, wow, why? Where am I? You'll be lost. But when you are in an atmosphere that everyone is friendly, you feel welcomed. So I guess this is one principle that I'm sure that resonates with all of us. And also the last principle that talks about trade challenge. Yeah. When you know that you're in your comfort, just try and trade challenge around, and you will know that um and we've done a whole lot. And I know that this book had already influenced or had already changed some people, right? Things when we started. And would like to hear feedback from anyone at this point. So the floor is open. Comments, additions. If you have any additions to add to what she has said, let's hear your view. And we'll also learn from you. Thank you.
Can raise your hand and we'll give you the control to unmute your mic. Thank you. Thank you, Anu, and thank you, Deo. So I So while we're waiting for people to raise their hand, once again, I want to thank Moradeo for the moderation and Sumaya for the fantastic presentation as well. I think there's one particular part in this book that we all need to pay attention to, and the part is being genuine and be honest, right? That concept is repeated several times within the book. So when they were telling us about connecting with people, they tell you to smile and make the smile genuine, right? But in this particular part, they were talking about if you are wrong, you need to admit it quickly and emphatically. I think some people believe that not accepting your faults and accepting that you are wrong at times is a form of strength, while in the real sense of it is a form of weakness. It's a complex, right? When you're wrong and you tell people that I'm sorry, I don't know that was the case. That wasn't my intention. People tend to like you and see you that you are truly honest, and they will trust you more and respect you more. Other than when you're wrong, and instead of you to admit it, you are not admitting it. You're trying to defend it. You're trying to prove your point. And the second part I want to emphasize is the principle 8 of it, which says, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. All right. And there are several experiments that have been done about perspective, and they will show you an image reflecting a color at a particular side and another color at the other end, right? And they will tell you, what can you see? People will tell you, I can see blue, right? They ask the next person, what can you see? The person will say, I'm seeing white, right? Whereas it is just the angle of reflection. All of us, we've been shaped by what we've read, what we've seen, the kind of experience we've gone through in life, the kind of knowledge that we've acquired. If you see a scientist thinking and talking, you will know, oh, this person has a background of this particular field. If you see an accountant talking, you see, oh, you can reflect and easily see their background, right? So if you are now talking about things, perspective might be different. You need to honestly appreciate the person's perspective because they have arrived at that perspective with a particular premise, right? So, okay, somebody's telling you about investment, is telling you this is how you should do it. person has invested in that, he has made money, is fine. You have also invested in that kind of business, you have lost, and you have made some big losses from it. When you're talking about, oh, fish farming is so wrong, it is not blah, 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 and all of that, why not listen to why you failed? Perhaps the person got the answer to why you failed, and the person got it right and is able to get it. So you can learn from that person. So if you honestly listen to people and see things from people's perspective, and then before you arrive at your decision. And lastly, that I would talk about is about an argument, because we also need to provide the right context. This does not mean that people will not have different perspective, but what they're basically saying is you can discuss, you can debate, you can exchange ideas, as against ridiculing the person's point of view to say, oh, I must win an argument. In this book, Dale said that for every time you win an argument, you have won an enemy, or an enemy to yourself, because the person will feel bad, the person will not be happy. So rather, just express your opinion, emphasize your point of view, but do not intend to win that argument. Say, oh, you must accept my own. If you don't accept, you are a fool. If you don't accept, you are wrong. Why don't you use your brain? That is what Dale is really saying. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dale.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kazim, for that addition. It's much appreciated. Yeah, that's also a very, very good expression. And I know that's me, number one, argumenta. Or what's the English word I can use to say? I know I can argue for Africa, right? And I'm also trying, and I'll keep improving. This book has actually helped me one way or the other, and I know I'll keep improving. Even before we round up, I'm sure I would have seen great changes in my and everyone on this call. Yeah, so we still have 8 minutes to go, and we'd love to hear from anyone. Please just signify by raising your hand, and we will unmute you. I want to believe that every one of us, at least most of us, read this book, and we have one or two things to share with us. Right? Let's also hear from your own points, what you understood, and we'll also learn. It's a learning class.
I think if people are not sharing, perhaps they are fine. Oh,
All
okay. I
right,
can see
someone's
Mikhail
hand is
Abiodun.
up.
Okay.
Someone's hand is up. Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Mikhail, and I've heard about this book. It's been, I think, 3 or 4 years from now, but I've never been able to complete the reading. So, but yeah, for the first few chapters, I've read through them, and it's just that every point in there is something you can always resonate with, like in every aspect of our lives. So, for example, I just want to emphasize like 2 points, which is being honest and seeing things from other people's perspective. I've been in a situation where I was conducting an experiment, and at a very critical point, I made a mistake, and I was working with a manager, and I know I had to say it in front of the whole, lab. It's a lab setting. So at a point, or I mean, looking at it from one perspective, it's very embarrassing. And looking at it from another perspective, not saying it at that point could cause, a lot of money. So I just had to okay, this is what happened. I guess we have to repeat this experiment. And to my surprise, while I was expecting something like, oh, why did you do this? Or this thing and all those stuff. Like they were really, really appreciative, and they appreciate the fact that I spoke and I stated my mistake, and it was not even as bad as I thought it would be. And since then, I have that confidence of saying when it's wrong and when that statement is critical to everybody that's concerned. So I find that principle very, very useful, because it was just around when I read something about being honest from this book. I can say that it's actually what gave me the courage to speak up at that point. Then the second point, on seeing things from other people's perspective, so it also happened to a colleague of mine. So we were into this discussion, and it was like, I'm always right. I was like, no, what do you mean you're always right? The fact that you get this right does not mean you're always right. And before we leave that scene, something happened where he happened to be wrong. So that statement really hurtful. It's like, so do you mean that everyone in the room is stupid or idiot? That is, we are not just myself, a lot of, I think we are 6 that place that day. That is how they attack the person. So these are, my point is that these points from this book, they are really something that you can always apply in everyday's maybe activities at work or at home, even between couples or between friends. So I really appreciate the fact that maybe we picked this book for as a first book to read, and I hope we can keep it up and everybody can pick and apply what they are learning in the book. Thank you. Yeah, can you hear me at all?
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Rashid. Thank you. That's fantastic, and we hope everyone will actually pick one or two things from everything everyone have said, and also the book. So thank you. Okay, I have Adelike's and all. We just have 3 more minutes to go, and we'll round up with him. Thank you.
Dr. Imran Adeleke, you can go ahead and unmute your mic. I think he's not able to unmute his mic. Be over to you. There, you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So Dr. Adeleke is not available at this time. And okay, is there any other person? We just have less than 2 minutes to end this session. And any other hands? Nobody?
None. There, you can go ahead,
All
please.
right, none. So next week we'll be reviewing the part 4 of this book. That'll be next week, same time, 7:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. And we hope that everyone will share the summarized copy on the group. And for other people that I might not be in the group, can also reach out to any one of us, and we'll be willing to share the soft copy of the book so that everyone can actually participate in the blessings of the book. Yeah, so at this junction, I'll hand over the lecture lesson to Kazim Lawa, which is the pioneer member of this particular Kaizen reading club.
All right, thank you
you.
so much, Anu. Sorry, thank you so much for there. So I keep calling you, and I'm very sorry about it. So thank you so much, Maradeya, for that, and thank you, Sumaya Layole, for the fantastic session. We thank everyone for coming around. See you guys next time, the same on Saturday next week. the same time. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.